my number 10 it's a little bit of an odd one. It is A Quiet Place Day One, which is the third Quiet Place movie, and considering that A Quiet Place was just John Krasinski and Emily Blunt looking to do a movie together, and just done as a little indie film, no budget, just great storytelling, then it's a huge hit. Then Quiet Place 2 comes out. It's also good, not quite as good, but also makes a ton of money. So this is the prequel, day one, of those aliens invading Earth. It's the aliens from outer space, and we get the big budget Hollywood treatment on the indie film Darling from a couple of years ago. No John Krasinski directing this film, but we do have a great cast. We've got Djimon Hounsou, we've got Lupita Nyong'o, and, I'm not a huge CGI fan, but I like the CGI effects on the trailer of this film. I love the world that's been built up in this film, and even the cast that they got to be in it. Alex Wolff has done so much great work on the young adult circuit over the last 10 years or so. I mean, he hasn't done as much the last couple of years in terms of big name stuff, but I am really excited to see a big blockbuster treatment to this former indie darling of a franchise. Djimon Hounsou and Lupita Nyong'o, Oscar-nominated actors across the board. See, this is what I'm talking about. I've been off YouTube for 6 months, so now I'm getting into the stumbling portion of the live stream. I am eager to see A Quiet Place Day One. my number 10 film.
Yeah, definitely looks. The cast is definitely attractive. I mean, some good names there. I didn't see the second one. I saw the first one. the first. Oh my God, that first movie. I mean, everybody. I don't know. I think it had heart, but
You think it was a little overblown?
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. They made so many mistakes. I mean, I said, you're coming out of the theater and you're shaking your head and you're going like, and may sound sort of cruel, but it really isn't. But they were the dumbest family ever. I mean, they were the dumbest. I mean, it's like everything that happened to them was all their fault. Putting their little kid on the end, making him walk on the end. He's like a little kid, and he's like, he had him at the end of the family trail. It had been 3 years since the invasion had hit. 3 years. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. So in a world where no noise can be heard, you're going to go ahead and allow yourself to get pregnant. How the hell are you going to keep not only yourself, but how are you going to keep your baby quiet? Who thought about that? I mean, if anybody's going to do birth control, that would be the time to do it during the invasion. And it's just like you're just sitting there going, like, who would do that? Who would get pregnant during this time?
Well, the human race does have to go on at some point.
Yeah, but that's when you sit there and let somebody else do it. While you're buying time, you let somebody else do it while you're buying time, so to kick them off the planet. But I mean, then they give birth to the baby, and you're sitting there and like, oh, that how are you going to keep quiet for that? And then she stepped on the nail, and it was just like, I mean, whatever they could create noise off of, they did. They put poor Emily Blunt into that, and yeah, I just had I had a hard time with that movie. The dad, he gave himself up way too soon. Like, wow, like you couldn't think yourself out of this. I like how they defeated the aliens, and it would have been more, to me, it would have been more interesting to see them going forward. I don't know how the second movie did. And day one, I mean, all we're doing is we're seeing what's happening to get us to the first movie. This is what we're doing to get you up to speed. I don't know. Are you a big prequel fan? I mean, and let me ask that in the chat as well. Are you guys prequel fans as well?
I think I like the idea of prequels more than the execution of prequels. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of prequels that I love, and X-Men First Class would be one, but like struggling to come up with other prequels that are like excellent. But there's not a huge time jump here. I mean, it's a couple years. It's not 20 years. It's not 30 years.
Right.
It is just
And
day one versus day 400 and whatever.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right.
I think I loved A Quiet Place in the first film. I will say, though, I do think that there was a certain amount of Mars attacks in there. Kind of towards the end, in terms of the ending of the film. To me, it tied a little bit too closely to Mars Attack, but then again, that's it's a 30-year-old movie, completely different genre. So
Right.
that nitpick aside, I really did like the first film, and I'm looking forward to this. It's not higher on my list though, because I guess it's maybe slightly a cynical thing, but
The good cast, though.
the cash grab portion
Yeah.
of it, and look, I love big blockbusters, but to me, it's a little bit wait and see in terms of the big budget treatment to the indie film darling. So that is my number 10